Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart, Shloka number 37. Today we completing this chapter, and tomorrow we will start third chapter of the second canto. Shloka number 37. We Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret Nashtapraeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna Pranam. Today we start uh, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 2nd, The Lord in the Heart, Shloka number 37. Pibanti e bhagavata atmana satam
पिबन्ति ये भगवत आत्मनः सताम्
katha amrutam shravanaputeshi sambrutam
कथामृतं श्रवणपुटेषु सम्भृतम्
punanti te vishaya vidushita ashayam
पुनन्ति ते विषयविदूषिताशयम्
व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरुह अंतिकम
व्रजन्ति तच्चरणसरोरुह अन्तिकम्
पिबन्ति ये भगवतः आत्मनः सताम्
पिबन्ति हि ये भगवत आत्मनः सताम्
कथामृतं श्रवणपूटेषु संभृतम्
कथामृतं श्रवणपुटेषु सम्भृतम्
पुनन्ति ते विषयविदूषित आशयम्
पुनन्ति ते विषयविदूषित आशयम्
व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरुह अन्तिकम्
व्रजन्ति सरोरुह अन्तिकम्
पिबन्ति ये भगवत आत्मनः सताम् कथा अमृतं श्रवणपूटेषु संभृतम् पुनन्ति ते विषयविदूषित आशयम् व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरुह अन्तिकम्.
पिबन्ति ये
हरे कृष्णा.
भगवतात्मनः सतां कथामृतं श्रवणपुटेषु सम्भृतं पुनन्ति ते विषयविदूषिताशयं व्रजन्ति तच्चरणसरोरुह अन्तिकम्
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarean message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment and back Godhead to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The sufferings of human society is due to a polluted aim of life, namely lording it over the material resources. The more human society engages in the exploitation of undeveloped material resources for sense gratification, the more it will be entrapped by illusory material energy, the Lord, and thus the distress of the world will be intensified instead of diminished. The human necessities of life are fully supplied by the Lord in the shape of good food, grains, milk, fruit, wood, stone, sugar, silk, jewels, cotton, salt, water, vegetable, etc. in sufficient quantity to feed and care for human race of the world, as well as the living beings on each and every planet within the universe. The supply source is complete and only a little energy by the human being is required to get his necessities into the proper channel. There is no need of machines and tools or huge steel plants for artificially creating comfort of life. Life is never made comfortable by artificial needs, but by plain living and high thinking. The highest perfectional thinking for human society is suggested here by Shukdev Goswami, namely sufficiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam for men in this age of Kali, when they have lost their perfect vision of life. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the torchlight by which to see the real path. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada has commented on the Kathamrut mentioned in this verse, and this and has indicated Srimad Bhagavatam to be the nectarean message of the personality of Godhead. By sufficient hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, the polluted aim of life, namely lording it over matter, will subside, and the people in general in all parts of the world will be able to live a peaceful life of knowledge and bliss for a pure devotee of the Lord. Any topics in relation with his name, fame, quality, entourage, etc. are all pleasing, and because such topics have been approved by great devotees like Narad, Hanuman, Nanda Maharaj, and other inhabitants of Vrindavan. Certainly, such messages are transcendental and pleasing to the heart and soul. And by the constant hearing of the message of Bhagavad Gita and letter of Srimad Bhagavatam, one is assured herein by Srila Shukdev Goswami that he will reach the personality of Godhead and render him transcendental loving service in the spiritual planet of the name Golok Vrindavan, which resemble a huge lotus flower. Thus, by the process of bhakti yoga, directly accepted as suggested in this verse, by sufficient hearing of the transcendental message of the Lord, the material contamination is directly eliminated without once attempting to contemplate the impersonal Virat conception of the Lord. And by practicing bhakti yoga, if the performer is not purified from the material contamination, he must be pseudo devotee. For such an impostor, there is no remedy for being freed from material entanglement. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Lord in the Heart. Om Jnana Tirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्विताञ्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्णा पुनः once uh, Srimad Bhagavatam canto second chapter second the Lord in the heart we completing today shloka number 37. Here in this shloka they describe about the human society's suffering. Why they are suffering? They are suffering due to the polluted aim of life. Their life of aim is not fixed. Their aim is to lord over the material resources, and human society engages in the exploitation of the undeveloped material sources, and so they suffering from uh, uh, so many things. Here they describe how uh, we pure our life means how we purify this polluted aim of life, and then after how we to go to back home to the lotus feet of personality of Godhead, those describing here. And here they again describe the constant hearing of the message of Bhagavad Gita, and after Bhagavatam, that is, we get assurance from uh, uh, and that assurance is given in behalf of the Lord Srila Shukdev Goswami, that when we hear this constantly, uh, uh, then we able to reach the personality of Godhead and render our services to the loving service in the spiritual planet of Golok. Means there is the confirmation we get to reach the abode of Golok Vrindavan to the back home, back to Godhead. That describe here, and they again describe about the pseudo devotee. Who is pseudo devotee? And from such uh, pseudo devotees, we cannot um, hear any and anything, and he never freed from material entanglement. All these things are describing in this shloka. Prabhuji will tell us is nicely. Hare Krishna. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Hare Krishna. So, while just going through it, if you all remember Bhagavad Gita, something similar was said by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita when he was talking about people who doubt scriptures and who not hear them, they have no spiritual progress. So, this comes in the 40th shloka of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, hearing and reading of the scriptures is very, very important. And those who are able to do the Shravanam, only they are in a position to move further in the ladder of going back home, back to Godhead. So, Krishna says, Adnyah cha ashraddhadhana च संशय आत्मा विनश्यति न अयम लोकः अस्ति न परः न सुखम संशय आत्मनः. But those ignorant and unfaithful who doubt the Shastras, they are not able to obtain the nectar of devotional service. But they fall down. These people are not only fallen in this material world, but also in the other world, they do not get any kind of happiness. And that is why this shloka is just continuation of those discussions. And in continuation of the discussions, Prabhupada ji is making us aware of very important facts. How amongst all the scriptures, it's the hearing of Bhagavatam which is the real solution to material anxieties, material problems, material sufferings. Now, if you want to treat any disease, we first need to know the cause of the disease. So, similarly, if you want to treat human suffering, first we need to understand what is the root of human suffering. So, Prabhupada ji makes us understand that the core reason for suffering is the polluted aim of life, the desire to lord over material nature. If you remember the previous shlokas which we were discussing, how the whole journey happens, how the material world is created, how Virat Roop was being described, we saw that when the Jiva is taking the body, what happens is the very first thing which creates a problem from false ego is desire. So, desire is the root cause of all the subsequent issues which happen. So as long as we try to have an independent desire, independent of what Krishna wants, we are going to be Baddha Jiva. We are going to be materially bonded because we don't have the capacity to lord over. A servant is only good as long as he is serving the owner. The moment the servant says, "No, I won't bring water for you," what does the owner do? "Please get out of the house." And our eternal position is that of a servant to Krishna. Jivera Swarup hai Nitera Krishna Das. So, what we have to do is fulfill the desire of the Lord, not desire to lord over the material nature. Because we have this desire, it becomes the reason for suffering. And modern civilization seeks comfort in artificial needs, material advancement. So, this leads to more suffering, not peace. Why are the wars happening? Because someone wants to prove that I am better than the other. So, there are fights, there's competition, and because of competition, there's frustration, and because of frustration, there's suffering, there's sorrow. And all this started with that desire that I am better than the other. But practically speaking, Krishna provides everything, all necessities, grains, milk, fruits, wood, water. They're naturally provided by Krishna. Whether you are in India, whether you are in Iran, in Ukraine, in America, or even Alaska. So, what is required is just minimal effort to obtain these needs. There's no need for industrial exploitation. So, plain living and high thinking is the true path to happiness. But what we do is sabka saath, sabka vikas, and sabka vinash, sabka dukh. Because we try to find something in a place where that thing is not there. If you have lost your rupee on the road and try to find it in your house, will you ever find it? No. So, if you are trying to find happiness where there is no happiness, will we get happiness? No. This world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So, this knowledge, this understanding is required. And that is where importance of sharing Srimad Bhagavatam arises. Srimad Bhagavatam is the torchlight in the darkness of Kali Yuga. Hearing its message purifies the heart and redirects life's whole from materialism to self realization and devotion. So it is the Katha Amritam, nectar of topics, that leads to liberation and service at the lotus feet of the Lord. So, three importance: torchlight, purificatory message, and Kathamritam. But above all these, we need to understand it is Amala Puran, a spotless literature, which is the fruit of all the Vedic literatures. And so it has everything that you need to know. What you will find everywhere else. You will find even those things which you won't find anywhere else. And that is why hearing Srimad Bhagavatam becomes important. And devotional service, bhakti yoga, the effects are tremendous. Practiced by hearing and chanting, bhakti yoga eliminates material contamination. A true devotee becomes peaceful, content, spiritually strong, while a pseudo devotee who is not purified remains bound in material life. So if someone says, "Ki why bad things happen to good people," they need to understand what is the definition of good people. Though Krishna says that if someone utters my name once, he is considered to be a devotee, But still, to get out of the bondage and the effects of the karmas, cleaning of the heart is required. And for that cleaning of the heart, for that Chetodarpan Marjanam, sustained chanting is required. There are scriptural warnings and encouragements as well repeatedly. See, Krishna says that doubting scriptures leads to downfall. So we need to have faith in scriptures. Faithful hearing, following scriptures elevates one to transcendental understanding. So we need to have faith. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is best. So we need to study Bhagavad Gita as well. So Prabhupada ji used to give the suggestion that first explain why people are suffering. And the moment we are able to explain, then we are in a position to clean them, to cure them of their sufferings. And for that, simple living is recommended. So there are qualities which are required for peace, like we'll be seeing in the Bhagavatam 7th canto, 11th chapter. So the qualities are recommended, which will help us get the peace. So what are those qualities? Truthfulness, tolerance, that is T square. Then cleanliness, control of mind and senses, so C square. And then austerity, service to sense, so AS. So T2, C2, AS. Truthfulness, tolerance, cleanliness, control of mind and senses, austerity, and service to sense. So these are the minimum qualities which are required. If we have developed those qualities, then we can get peace. And these qualities are such which arise naturally in person who has unflinching devotion to Lord Krishna. So this again is recommended in Bhagavatam itself when we go to the 5th canto. So simple living and high thinking is the ideal life. A minimalist lifestyle centered around spiritual growth. Real happiness does not come from gadgets or luxury, but from reducing needs and increasing Krishna consciousness. For example, today everyone wants to have mobile phones. Though 5G coverage is not there everywhere, everyone started buying 5G phones. And what way were used for? Calling, which even a small handset was able to do. Or internet, which even the other handsets which are not 5G capable are able to do. Speed, the same speed as what the 4G were supplying. So simple living, minimalistic lifestyle is very important. Even great acharyas like the Shad Goswamis, they lived extremely austere lives and gave immense contributions to the world through literature. So we need to learn from them. So when Shukdev Goswami ji is now responding to Parikshit Maharaj's questions after telling him that Shravanam is the best, he is additionally making him more confident that if you hear, and hearing is what? It is compared to drinking the through oral reception. And what? The moment we have this nectarian message of Krishna, what happens is the devotees, they get purified of the polluted aim of life. And because they are purified, they are able to go back home, back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Krishna. So these two aspects are very important. The polluted aim of life, which is material enjoyment. So first we need to overcome that. Second, we have to hear the nectarian message of Lord Krishna. Third, we have to become a beloved devotee of the Lord. And when we are able to fulfill all these three, we are able to go back to Godhead. So what it means is, the lessons that we have is, one, we have to hear regularly. Hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam should be our top priority. Two, live simply, cut down material needs, avoid artificial comforts, lead a regulated life. Three, utilize time properly. Every second is precious. So don't waste life in material planning. Four, depend on God. Accept only what is needed and trust Krishna's provision. And five, be detached. Avoid false proprietorship and sense gratification. So this shloka is making us aware, to overcome suffering and achieving peace, mankind must align the aim of life towards devotional service to Lord. And Bhagavatam is the perfect guide for this. Through simple living, high thinking, constant hearing, one can return to the spiritual world and live a life of eternal happiness. And that is exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has guided us through his Shikshashtakam. And that is what we all must try to achieve. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. So we become very tolerant, we become very humble. And we don't want anything, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, vajadeshka. What we just need is keep on listening, listening, listening. And the moment we keep on listening, we'll achieve the objective of our life. Thank you very much.